Hello. Hi, hi. How are we? I hope you're all doing well. Turn the music down a bit so I can actually think. But yes, hi though. I hope we're all doing well. Blair, if you're still here. Barry, how are you? Anyone else is lurking? I hope you're doing well. So, I have had an idea. I thought, how about instead of just staring at this screen for like an hour while I just, what if I play Animal Crossing instead and then still have like the meat of the stream be late? Thoughts? I'm so down for that. I mean, we're doing it. I'm in the Animal Crossing category. I'm just like pretending to ask you. You abandoned the tablet, but you have elf headphones. Ooh, love that. Ice Bean, hello, how are you? Yeah. Hi, friends. Just making sure I know how to change the system time on my Nintendo Switch so we can actually play in the daytime for once. Your arm hurts? Oh no. Oh no, that sucks. Long work day, but you survived. I'm so proud of you. So proud. I'm not sure you've sent photos of these earphones. Elf ones, like the movie Elf, or just like elf ears? Wait, oh no, maybe you have. It's kind of ringing a bell a bit now. Okay, question for you all. Oh shit, I've probably moved over too soon. Question for you all. Should I leave this playlist playing, or would we rather have Animal Crossing music? Because I can absolutely just mute Animal Crossing and have this jamming. Oh. I've had both. Yes, do I? It's not detecting the game. Oh, because it's not full screen. I mean, it is full screen because it's my Nintendo Switch. Yes. Hey. Damn, it's not connecting my controller. That's so cursed. Give me 1 sec. I need to do a cheeky Alt F4. Oh my god, what's happening to my PC? Yes. No, I know. Oh my god. Go away! How do I close it? Okay, I've closed it. Ooh. We're fine. We're very calm here. Just want to give you an illustration of what was happening. So you see my mouse, right? My mouse just kept going, and like I'd move it back to the middle and it would just go, and fuck off again. And it was to do with the controller, I think. The controller was like doing something weird. But yeah, no, mine's struggling with 2 music as well. Hi, Mimi, hello, how are you? I don't know what you mean. Like, no idea. Right. It sounds like Joy-Con drift, indeed. Oh, you don't see this. Oh, shit. You saw nothing, Nintendo. Shigeru Miyamoto? Off. Wait. I started the stream with this song. And it's come back around, like, immediately. That's so weird. Right, it's saying my controller's not... Oh, is it there? Has it done it? Has it found me? Or is it that one? I don't know, I think it's that one. Why? Let's try that. Okay. They know you're not using original hardware, so we're giving you drift anyway. Right, I disassembled this like a week ago because it was drifting, okay? Let me have this. Yay, the controller works, good. Oh, I haven't seen this since 2020. Testing, testing, test. Hello, Oh dear. So sorry about that. The volume was a little loud there. Hello, everyone. Starting today, I'll be doing an island-wide broadcast full of island updates, goings-on, and such. Hello, everyone. Hello. I'll go over some things that are very important to normal life, so lend me your island ears for a short time. Truly. Now, it's only fitting that we kick off the daily ritual with a doozy of an island announcement. The Junipero Airport is now open for business. Starting today, you can use online or local communication to fly to other islands for a visit. That's not all, no. The airport counter service... The airport counter now offers postal services. Orville is fucking Jackie. If you know, you know. You got here yesterday, and today you can leave, yes. Just like the Resident Services Centre, the airport is open 24 hours a day, so please drop by for a look. That's all from me. I do hope you enjoy another fine day of luxurious Junipero living. Don't offer postal services, it's not worth it, truly. The systems will crash daily. Oh, too real. Okay, so I've got a funny story for you, friends. If it loads the game properly. Which I think it will. I'll show up for a minute, though. You can't see the cute little loading thing because it's right where my webcam is. Okay, we're good. So, I have a funny little story for you. I don't know if this has ever happened to anyone else, but I was just on Animal Crossing on my island, and as if by magic I found a message bottle, and inside the message bottle was each of the other fruits that I need. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but it's happened to me. Yes, I'm telling the truth right now. So I now have all the fruits. And if there's anything else that I ever need but can't get, maybe I'll find more messages in more bottles. I don't know. There you go. Also, hi Bailey. I hope you're doing well. From Mom. My dear Snow, whenever I see a plane, I think of you and wave at those airborne strangers with all my might. I had no idea how many flights took off each day. My arm is exhausted. Enjoy your fresh start, from Mum. Cute. Thanks, Mum. I think it's fruit, isn't it, you get? Yeah, oh yeah, I got peaches. Okay. Thanks for the butts, Mum. Okay. Yes, Bailey, this is sarcasm. These fruits have come to me very legitimately because I don't have multiplayer and I needed the fruits, and I've acquired them. Yes. Isn't it crazy how Animal Crossing has this built-in ability to know exactly what you need? I know, right? It's crazy. Okay, I've got nothing actually planned here to do. But yes. So many peaches, yes. Ooh. I still don't have things, do I? some of my tools. Oh, Snow, it's good to see you. How are you enjoying island life? Saw a message bottle wash up on the beach. I saw that too. Of all the beaches in the world, right? There's mystery and adventure when someone sends a note by bottle onto the big blue ocean. I picked it up at first, but I could put it back down so someone else could enjoy opening it. That's cute. Actually, that's a good question. Sabine, do you prefer to be called... If I'm typing your name out, do you prefer Sabine like your username or Sabine like your legal name? There's a question for you. Good news, we've placed a tape deck in front of resident services so you can enjoy group stretching. Remember, happy island living begins with daily exercise. Okay, you like them both. Okay. Catching up on the name lore, truly. Hello. Sabine is legal, but Sabine is the English version. Okay. Snow, hello, hello. What would you like to talk to me about? I'm all ears. What should I do? That is the question. Well, this island is a diverse habitat for many interesting creatures. You can catch all kinds of insects and fish with your net and fishing rod. I'm most curious to see any creatures you do catch. By all means, bring them to me. Ooh. Officially, Sabine isn't pronounced like Sabine. Really? Oh, okay. If you ever want me to pronounce it differently, you're more than happy to tell me, and I will do my little best. Looking built, Cardio. What's up? Hey, isn't that the hat I gave you? Looks great. Really shows off your head muscle. Oh, I could catch them, can't I? Oh, I don't have my tool wheel. Oh, this is pain. I'm looking at putting some makeup. You might go out tonight. Ooh, huge. If you do, have a great time. And yes, no pressure to chat, of course. Officially, it's Sabina. Sabina? That's my attempt. Oh, there you are. Yo, Snow! I'm getting a real good vibe from the tent plot you picked for me. Thanks for the hand. We gotta look out for each other here. If you ever need anything, don't be shy. Truly, is that possible? Ah, yeah. I was thinking about how to thank you, and I came up with a recipe for a leaf umbrella. Alright, so the first thing I thought of when I got here was that's a lot of weeds. That's kind of where I got the idea. It's a DIY project that uses weeds. Think about it, weeds are the most abundant natural resource we have. May as well use them. Oh, also, my airport's been repainted. It just happened. It just happened. A bug. A bug. No, you, baby. No, you. Thank you for that, Bailey. Thank you for that message. What a rice grasshopper. I've been looking for a gluten-free alternative. Paint is a resource. It is. It is, it is. What do I got? Wooden table mirror. What is that? What is a wooden table mirror? Now you see, Mimi, I thought about pinning it. The thought really occurred. I mean, I hope I'd get if I was going to get anything from Nintendo, I would want a cease and desist. Thank you very much. I would rather not have a full lawsuit. Same wavelength, absolutely. Right, I want to catch something that I've already caught one of before so I can go and give it to Mr. Nook. Whee! Oh, no, Bailey, I'm sorry. I don't know what's happened there. Ah, I'm speed. Okay, let's go and give him a rice grasshopper. Was it like an auto mod thing? If it said failed to send, I don't... Isn't that usually like a connection weird Twitch issue or something? Ah, Snow, hello, hello. What would you like to talk to me about? I'm all ears. Yeah. I found a creature. Splendid. Let's have a look, shall we? Something worse than squirrels. What a catch. I do believe this is a rice grasshopper. If this island can support a rice grasshopper, why, who knows what other fantastic creatures we may find living here? Probably, yeah. I have an idea. An old friend of mine runs a museum, and I'd love to send it to him for a closer look. Would you be okay with that? Okay. Thank you. I promise I'll take extra good care of your rice grasshopper. That reminds me. This is in no way tied to your generous donation just now, but I have a useful app to show you. Yippee! Yay! I sent you the Critterpedia app. It's a terrific resource for an aspiring island researcher such as yourself. With this one app, you'll get all the important details about bugs, fish, and sea creatures you catch. I do hope you'll continue to fill it up with your discoveries, and share them with me too. I'm sure I'll be able to come up with some kind of additional reward. Oh, this is here now. How could I forget? I should give you a brief explanation about the terminal. That is our Nook Stop. It's a terminal for services that will further enhance your island's life. At the moment, you can use two services. The first is Nook Shopping, a catalogue for items that can be hard to find on an island. Second is an automatic bell dispenser or ABD. We're also working on a service by which you'll be able to redeem Nook Miles for various things. Please take advantage of these wonderful services. Oh yeah, you get miles for clicking on it, don't you? What can I buy? Ah, I'm really broke. Oh dear. Okay. There's nothing really I want to sell at the moment, is there? Maybe, maybe. Who knows, hey? Perhaps I will. Let's go straight back in. I miss the simple Animal Crossing days. I'm enjoying this. Enjoying this type of Animal Crossing. Right, can I give him another one? Found a creature. Common butterfly. You may. I have. Sure. That's great. Come to think of it, I've seen you tinkering around a bit over there. Keep up the good work. That reminds me, I've been meaning to share even more DIY recipes with you. Mind turning on your phone? Just sent you a number of DIY recipes that require wood, along with the recipe to craft an axe. Yes, I think an axe would come quite useful on this island, because so many things are made of wood. I hope you'll keep bringing me new discoveries to examine, all part of the island experience. Yes. Have I got a shovel now? I hope I do. Oh, I don't. But log steaks. Oh, if you have not seen my original island, I'm obsessed with log steaks. And tree branch and a stone. Okay, I can do that. So where's the stone? There. Let the decorating begin. Just have log steaks everywhere. They're so good. They're so good, log steaks. Wait. Not to call anyone out of a look. Bailey, have you seen my Animal Crossing island? My main one on my Switch. This is important to me. Wait. For the perfect amount of simple... Oh, Bailey. Oh, I'm going to have to show you my island at some point. That was bad. It's so pretty, thanks. The fish is the fish is turned now after all that. Fish, please. Fish, please. Yeah, okay. Ooh, what's that? Oh, carp, nice. Where's it gone? Oh, it's completely gone, okay. Oh, what's that one? Red one. That was poor. Yoink. A red dragonfly. Nice. Pockets are nearly full, okay. I think I just need one more stick. Yeah. Oh, do it, Sabine, do it. Oh, I have an extra stick now. Do it, do it. Should I craft something? Yes. Let's craft. Ooh, enjoy, Bailey. Made a flimsy axe. Okay, I'm gonna get so much wood. Because I always run out. Wait, can't I? I can do this. So getting your uniform ready tomorrow. Seen the pin message. Money rock! Yeah, no, that was pinned by Mimi, just want to let you know that. Ah. Look, there was a clam on the beach. Okay. Pockets are full. Not like this. Maybe I've gone too early on getting fruit. No, I would never pin that. Oh, it's really? Why have you gone in the middle like that? Wait. No, I need to place that one. Oh, that's a bigger one. And then 2 more fish. Yes, this is correct. Good. I know, the limited backpack space is so rough. No! 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 Huge. I feel like placing all your museum stuff outside your tent during early game is a unit. Truly, it's universal. Skill, thank you. And creature. Do you believe this is a yellow butterfly? You may. By the way, I have a proper reward for you this time. Oh? Giving you some red rose bags. Just a little sampling of a product we sell. Go ahead and do some planting, and after a few days you'll have beautiful blooming flowers. Anyway, give it a whirl, and if you enjoy gardening, stop by and buy more. I hope you'll keep bringing me new discoveries to examine. All part of the island experience. Yes, yes. Oh wow, I've put things outside and it's all just bugs. Oh, I forgot that berry. Just randomly giving out seeds. Why did we do that? What was that about, really? Why were we like this? I really shouldn't do this. Because I've not got the inventory space for iron and clay. Oh, I'm sure it was, yeah, just a gardening magazine thing, but like, why? Not gonna turn around to a customer and say, hey mate, you want some seeds? My axe is gonna break when I do this tree. Oh sick, it didn't. Yeah, you can. I always do it with a shovel, because like, it feels wrong to do it with an axe. But I don't have a shovel yet, so axe it is. Pretty sure you just robbed a bunch for your nan. Iconic though. I think I did that as well. I may have acquired some seeds. No, actually leave that there. I'm not asking people if they want seeds, truly. How do you not know this? I don't know, Bestie. How don't you know this? Bailey, do you want my Animal Crossing lore that I was talking about in Discord earlier? About my Animal Crossing cult that I joined? Because I've not talked about it since I started playing Animal Crossing again. Because everyone here knows it, but I don't think you do. Do I not have sticks? Oh, I don't have sticks. Wounder. Wounder. Yes, okay. Kind of miss those days, to be fair. We don't give out actual free stuff anymore. What have we given out recently? I can't remember. I mean, we still get free Pokemon cards occasionally. bothers me that I picked that one up. Oh, yeah, no, they're not a thing anymore, Blair. They've been stopped. Furniture. What did I get? A wall clock. Okay. Money. This is huge. We still get some people asking for the Mackey's vouchers, Blair. It's pain. Like, we haven't done them in a very long time now. Stop asking. Oh, yeah, no, you would. It's a very, very long time. Truly, it's like less than... It's like over 2 years now, I think we stopped. So what are the acorns? They're acorns. That's what they are, my friend. They are acorns. They're for the, like, the autumn crafting recipes. I understand people asking. Yeah, no, it's a long time. Like, I know some people take them for good causes and stuff, but, like, it has been 2 years. Like, I don't mind you asking for them, but, like, it's a long time since we did those. Like, what do they do? Just for crafting. Yeah. Oh, nice. Does anyone rotate their bushes? Or do you just have the same ones all the time? Because I did that. I think I had holly bushes, actually. Can't be bothered. Oh, I can't either. I think I did, like, once, and I was like, this is so long. I think I need to go fishing, really, because I've already given one of those to Mr. Tom Nook. I'm so lazy, yeah. Don't even know the ones that are in season right now. No, I don't know either. I wish I could go like, oh, I think it's the hibiscus, but I don't know. Like the name, yeah. Don't know. Whee! Horse mackerel, okay. And give me another one. Ooh, ooh. Yes, actually. Yippee! What's a wharf roach? This water-loving roach has no peer. Oh, cool. It's right there. Another one. Oh, wait. I should catch the red one. If I still can. Huge. Okay. Yep, swap it for that horse mackerel, if I can let it go. Yay! Right, what I want to do, I want to donate, I think, is it 2 more things, and then he'll be like, ooh, my friend wants to come and visit. And then we can maybe move over to Layton. Let's have a look. You believe this is a red dragonfly. You may send it to your friend. You may do that. Remember the flower samples? I forgot to mention something. The flowers that grow will be very strong. They'll spring up even if you just plant them and forget them. But if you water them each day, that's where the magic happens. Watering opens up the possibility of propagating and crossbreeding your flowers to develop rare colours. And how might you water them, you ask? Just sent you the recipe for a watering can. My accountant warned me about giving this sort of thing away for free. You've collected creatures for me, Snow, so this is just part of the island give and take. I hope you'll keep bringing me new discoveries to examine. It's all part of the island experience. Yes, yes. I have another one for you. What's a catch? I do believe it's a horse mackerel. Would you mind if I sent it over to the museum curating friend? Hold the phone! Someone's calling! Blathers, is that you? Oh, what splendid timing. Yes, yes, do you remember the venture we discussed? Well, it's come to fruition. I'm currently stationed on an island we've decided to call Junipero. Yes, yes, the local fauna are just as abundant as expected, just as I told you. How many precisely, you ask? Well, there's no way of knowing just yet. But I have received, let's see, 5 outstanding specimens so far. What? Seriously? Well, that is very exciting. Oh, but you'll have to excuse me, I'm with a customer right now. Just hangs up, okay. I'm so sorry to keep you waiting. That was my friend Blathers, the one who curates a museum. Believe it or not, he's going to come to our island and help us identify and preserve the local creatures. I could use your help, Snow. Since you've done so much scouting and collecting, would you be able to help find a spot for Blathers? We'll need a good-sized space to build our world-class museum, so do keep that in mind. This is exciting, it's all coming together. Yes, yes. I did slightly forget about Blathers when I was pitching tents, because I feel like I've used the good spots now. Yeah, I could just like try and fit him in there or something, but that's a bit... Go back here, maybe? Let's see. Because it's big, isn't it? Let me imagine it. I've not. I've watched... Not literally every minute, but I've watched Vic's whole playthrough, and I think Mimi... Didn't... Mimi, if you're lurking, did you play... Horizon Zero Dawn on stream, or did you only play Forbidden West? I can't remember. Oh, no, sorry, no, it, I got sidetracked as well. I will do the Animal Crossing lore. Tell me the cult story, I will. Yeah, that's better. Yes. Only... Forbidden West. Okay. Forbidden. Blathers can set up his place now. And I think that's what I'll do tomorrow. Yeah, got fish. Accomplished lad and lass. Aren't you struggling to remember the controls? Oh, it's come straight back to me. I've played this game so much. Celeste! Oh, I love Celeste. Both the game and the character. I know, the wheel, not having the wheel is so rough. So rough. Wait, there's wood there. Oh, yeah. I should have left that in my pockets. Oh, well. Right, I would really quite like Blathers to come. Struggling to find the wheel, like the button for the wheel, yeah. Drop. Drop. I should sell the weeds, what am I doing? Drop. 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 Okay. Going hard into The Sims niche makes it hard. They're so difficult to play other games. Wait, Bailey, you want to play Celeste? Oh, I love Celeste. I'm so very normal about this game. I've only got 2 posters in my flat of Celeste. I'm so normal about Celeste. I love it. But yes, you play whatever you want to play, and if you want to do Celeste off stream, that's so okay as well. Okay, so something a tribe, truly. Only 2 fake fans, I know. Right. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do the Animal Crossing lore, and then... play some Layton. That's what we'll do today. Just whilst this loads, I'll put us back on just chatting. Okay. Oh, the controller's running away again. Oh dear. Once you Celeste, you know, a lot of friends like it, you just don't have the time. That's so okay, though. That's so okay. I know what song I want. Where is it? There it is. Your CCV while playing Celeste. Yeah, no, Celeste, people do come in through the category to watch people play Celeste. Ads, Bailey. Fuck them ads. I appreciate it. Yeet indeed. Why does Instagram think I'm not logged in? I am logged in. But yes, thank you so much, Bailey. I really appreciate it. There we go. Okay, so. Met a lot of people through Celeste, didn't you? Nice. Love that. Okay, so this is the lore. In like... My brain forgot the lore. Yeah, so in like May of 2020. Cheap viewers, get backed. Thank you. Wait. Mimi! Mimi! No! Mimi! Cancelled as a mod. How could you do that? How could you do that to Sabine Bags? Sabine, truly. Really? Well, welcome back, Sabine. Welcome back. Good, you're still VIP. This is good. I was worried it would, like, get rid of it. But yes. No, because, like, I was kind of doing that. I was, like, chat was popping, and I was like, I want to be careful who I click on. And then also, as well, to be fair, if, like, you clicked first, then I clicked second, like, I could have got Sabine anyway. Sorry, you're okay. You're okay. Head pass for Sabine. Truly, it's okay, Sabine. It's okay. Yeah, so, picture this. It's May of 2020, right? And I see an article. I think it was like Nintendo Life or something. Some article, anyway. About this thing that people were doing. Where you could... Like, you know when you start the island? Like, my island is full of weeds. People started this thing where you could request their help and they'd come to your island and help pick all the weeds for you. And I was like, that's so cute and so fun. I kind of want to join that. And I might have joined it. Oh, hi. And that is how I met Lely Plays, who has just popped into chat. We're doing the lore, Lel. We're doing the lore. But yeah, so I was part of this cult. This like group of people that would go to people's islands and pick weeds for them. I don't see how it's going to go downhill. It's not. It doesn't really. It slightly goes downhill, but like not bad. But no, it was really cute and really fun. And this is their Instagram. But yeah, hi Lel. I hope you're doing well. It was so cute. Lel, do you know this? I'm not sure you know this, Lel. It's messed up now because, you know, yeah. But this picture of like 1, 2, 3. Do you know I've got that on my wall? Because I am in this picture, and so is Lely. That one's Lely. But yeah, no. So we all went. It was like, so you go and pick weeds. That's what it was. But then it. Sort of, Bailey, sort of. And it also turned into watering flowers, because if you get a friend to come and water your island, water flowers, it's more likely to, the flowers are more likely to breed. So it became a thing where, like, in some cases, the same people, you go to the same islands every day to, like, water people's flowers for them. And it was really cute. On a real level, it was really cute. Where's Lyman? I don't know. Where is Lyman? Yeah, you got the photo shoot arranged. Yeah. It was real cute. It was real cute. But yeah, no, it did go a bit downhill because, like, the guy who created it was, like, almost basically an essential worker. So he went back to work, like, quickly. And then somebody else came in and sort of took over and made it a bit like a job. Like, he literally compared it to, like his own job he was working. Like, you know, there needs to be somebody available all the time to go and help people. Because if you, like, work at a shop, you can't have customers just, like, waiting around. We need people there and on it all the time. And it was like, this is Animal Crossing, shut up. But through that, it meant that me and Lely and some other people made a Discord group chat where we just bitched about him all the time. It was sensational. But yeah, no, then we all kind of left, and Weedco kind of died a death, to be honest. It did die in 2020, it didn't survive. But yeah, no, and then Lel started streaming, so that got me on Twitch, and then, yeah, it was real cute. Also made a pride sign of the hat and they vetoed it. Did they? Oh dear, I don't remember that. Still got the picture somewhere of the pride hat. It was cute. But yeah, no, and we all had, like, the matching uniforms, and it was very cute. Let me get the picture. Let me be cute. I would bring over the whole board, but it's got photos of me and IRL friends on it. Like, no. Yeah, no, on my little pinboard, I've got the photo of all of us in Animal Crossing. It's cute. It's very cute. It's not quite the full photo. I think someone's cropped out of it. Oh yeah, Kaylin was cropped out. Oh well. But it was very cute. Whilst I'm doing show and tell, I've also got one of, if it focuses, me and Joel and Vic and Kyle as well, and somebody else. I can't remember who it was, but they're not talking at that exact time. So, yeah, no, I forget who that was. And also, me and Blair dressing up for Halloween on Animal Crossing. It was real cute. In, like, 2020, I think it was. There you go, Blair. There you go. The one of us from Halloween. Like, oh, Halloween 2020. And then all up on my... Oh, Wait, and I have another one. Sorry. I have another one, but I got it printed later of me and Mimi watching the sunset on Animal Crossing. It was really cute, okay? Like, oh, so cute. And that's on my island as well. There you go, that's my lore for you. I've got photos of like a lot of us playing Animal Crossing. I should honestly though watch every sunset with you. No, with you. Honestly though, I should get Sabine's one as well. Oh, I'm so sorry. I should get the one of me, Sabine, and Emmy as well printed out because like that photo's iconic as well. So iconic. I love that photo so much, Sabine. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry, Berry, Redeem Squeak, let's go. Just thinking I should print one of those. I know, I mean there's cute ones, to be fair. There's cute ones as well as the funny one, but I do love that photo. I was tempted. Cute. Sorry, I love Animal Crossing. I love Animal Crossing. Thank you, Berry, thank you, yes. Sorry, I'm holding Bailey captive now. But this is the Instagram post for my island. Oh, if anyone else is experiencing that, do let me know. But yeah, so I've got my real cute island, which I love and adore so much. Hi, hungry. For real, I'll go eat some food. But yeah. I'm real proud of my island, as you know, because I talk about it a lot. You're in sync, nice. Ooh, do it, Bailey, go, do it. Yeah. I'm lurking, can't stop. Ooh, that is a Blair level of typo. What was that? Island tour when? It does exist. There is one already, but if anyone ever wants to come round to my island, I currently don't have Nintendo Switch Online, but we can fix that. We can fix that. It's not a typo, that's a stroke. Oh dear. Oh dear. Right, okay. So let's play some Layton. Is it frozen for anyone else? It's not looking frozen for me. I think that might just be a you thing, Andrew. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me change all my stuff. Battery did not charge, because of course it doesn't. Yes, so what I thought about doing, for anyone that wasn't here right at the very, very start, was instead of just chatting like this for like an hour, we could just like yap and play Animal Crossing. And then move into like the focus of the stream, which will be Layton or Zelda or whatever we end up doing. But I'm so down to do that. Like in general, just have like a little Animal Crossing at the start. That could be cute. I opened a bottle of soju and turns out this shit is strong. Oh god. Oh, strap in, Blair's getting drunk. Strap in. We barely did anything, Lel, we barely did. We're basically just chatting. But I do appreciate you being here. Blair drunk returns, truly. Truly. I'm going to fill up my drink as well. Look, this is very unintentional, but turns out this stuff hits like a truck. Oh god, okay, here we go. Wait, it played this track earlier as well, didn't it? Oh, not this one. Sorry. I have my headphones off. The last track I heard it play before, and it, like, delayed reaction registered with me. Oh, you've got to get up to work tomorrow. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That's rough. That is so rough. Friends, though. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking of things to say at this stage. Don't tell Potato, but I was thinking of maybe baking some brownies for Potato because it's her birthday soon. I don't think I'll stream that one because I'll just do it like tomorrow night, but I could bake some brownies soon. Brownies, yeah. Yes, yes. Do it. I think I should do it, yeah. I do think I should do it. Okay. Brownies are always good, right? They're so good. And may I say, my brownies are so good. Respectfully. Respectfully, let me taste them first. Respectfully, if I ever meet any of you in person, and it doesn't involve an aeroplane for me, you're getting brownies. I'll brownie battle you. Oh, I see. I just thought you wanted some brownies, but okay, I see what you mean. Yes, if you want to bake me some brownies as well, let's do it. Let's do that. I also want some brownies. So do I. Right, so last stream, friends, we played as Emmy for the whole stream because we were back in London. But now we're back in Mist Allery, aren't we? With Layton. Wait, I wonder if that means Emmy's not here. Okay. While Emmy is in London, Layton and Luke continue their investigation around the High Yard Hill area. Can they find any significant clues to help solve the puzzle of the Spectre? Chapter 7. Third Eye Jakes. Will Emmy be alright on her own? No, Emmy. Of course, I shouldn't think we need to worry about Emmy, Luke. She just sped out of here so fast, I hope she doesn't crash. Come now, Luke, let's get on with the investigation. Alright, Mr. Layton, where do we go from here? We still need more information on Mr. Bard. Who is the guy who died, right? The guy in the mansion that died. Ariana said the people in town weren't very fond of her father, excuse me. That is what she said. Do you think she's right, Luke? I should go take a shower before bed and stuff, and I'm EP, so I will lurk. Have a lovely time solving puzzles, everyone. Have a lovely night's sleep and a good wind down as well, Earl. I appreciate you stopping in. Yeah, I hope you're doing well, friend, and we'll chat soon. Okay. Yes. Honestly, Mr. Layton, I have no idea what grown-ups actually think. Me for real. See you soon, friend. Ah, fair enough, but we have to investigate if we want to gain Ariana's trust. I suppose so. Let's talk to some people in town. Okay, a puzzle sent to Keats, nice. Lost and found top rankings. What on earth does it mean? Nighty night, Lal, nighty night. Hard to resist such a well-equipped desk. The chief's still not back, I'm afraid. Oh. Oh no, you're getting bullied now, Sabine. Not bullied, sorry, guilt-tripped. You're getting guilt-tripped. Miss Allery Police Station's mission is to serve the people. We sincerely refuse to not cooperate. Oh dear. We're open to the general public, but the Chief Constable's got a lot on his plate at the moment. That street lamp must have been damaged by the Spectre. Yes, I think so. The Spectre has attacked several times since Mr. Bard's death. Most of the houses have been rebuilt, but they still haven't fixed the street lamps. Luke, do you remember all of the areas the Spectre has attacked? Not off the top of my head, no. Oh. But I've kept a record of every spot that the Spectre has attacked. I was hoping it might come in handy someday. I don't know what to say. What, is it no good? On the contrary, Luke, your organisational skills are very impressive. I'm stunned. This is wonderful data. It's just the groundwork we need in order to make sound deductions. The more information we gather and cross-reference, the greater the chance of us finding the truth. So it's helpful. Oh, his little face. Aww. Extremely. Great work, Luke. Let's continue our investigation. What? You want to ask me some questions? Get out of my face. He's so happy, he really is. You can't just go around asking people questions. I can have my dad arrest you for that, you know. I've heard your father is highly regarded in town. Yeah, obviously. My dad was the one who solved the Bard case. Everyone was scratching their stupid heads till my dad showed up. So your father handled that case? Yeah, of course he handled it. He found the will and the eyewitness. Solved. If you ask me, this town's pretty lucky to have him watching over it. Remarkable. Who is his dad? Is it the chief? I don't know. You bet it is. Luke, do you know anything about a will or an eyewitness to Bard's death? No, I'm sorry. I was so worried about Ariana, I didn't pay much attention to the investigation. I see. I hope Emmy can dig something up for us. With the town in such danger, I did kinda wonder if I should leave. But with Chief Jakes, I feel safe. He actually offered to pay for my stay to make up for all the Spectre trouble ruining my vacation. This must be typical in small towns. The authorities truly, care for the townspeople. Although it wasn't easy getting into town at first. I came because of the stories in the paper about the Golden Garden, but they turned me away. How did you get in then? The road into town is guarded by the police, but my friend and I took the back way over the mountains. The Spectre appeared on my first night here. The cops were pretty quick. They had the area blocked off, so I couldn't see anything. And you've remained here ever since. Well, having come all this way, it seemed a shame to leave. Plus, the police have been so kind. My friend got totally terrified when she heard about the whole Spectre thing, though. She ran off at the first opportunity. She's in one of these pictures, actually. Can you work out which one my friend is? Oh? One of these girls is my best friend. My best friend has blonde hair, doesn't wear glasses, and has a mole under her right eye. Can you tell who it is? Well, the mole is under C's left eye, so it can't be C. You can see A's right eye, so it can't be A. You don't have blonde hair. You don't have blonde hair. So I feel like it's going to be E. But I'm a little bit worried about what's going on with F, because it looks like a blonde bit of hair. I'm going with E, and if it's not E, I'm going for F.
Some puzzles must be met directly.
Okay.
I love the thrill of a good solution.
That seemed a bit simple. Correct, the answer is E. She has blonde hair, doesn't wear glasses, and has a mole under her right eye. What? You couldn't see the mole in the first picture? Well, never mind. No one else matched the description anyway. Well, did you see the Golden Garden in the end? No, it's too bad. I've been to the excavation site, but there's like nothing there. Even the dig team's gone now, so I'm just hanging around soaking up the atmosphere. Plus, the Spectre is still out there somewhere. The food is good and my board is all paid by the police. I love it here. I wonder if it's normal for the police to pay for people's holidays. That's a bit sus. The townspeople are probably not aware of how their tax money's being spent. Oh, too real. Oh no. When art imitates life, really. No thanks. Oof, truly. The police chief here is supposed to be some kind of super cop. Sergeant Nicholas Angel by any chance? They call him Third Eye Jakes. They say he can solve any case. I just hope his style is as smooth as his name. Indeed, a chief of police with no open cases must be quite skilled. Yeah, well, some people use their skills to solve cases, some people use their skills to do their hair. Yes, thank you, Blair. I needed somebody to get that, I appreciate it. The cops do seem to be pretty good about telling people which areas to evacuate. Luke, didn't you say that Dolan communicates your predictions to the townspeople? Dolan tells the police and then they deal with the evacuation. I see, there certainly was a police presence in North Eli Street the day the Spectre appeared. I mean, it is your favourite film, yeah, that's fair. I'd like to meet this Third Eye Jakes. Along with the Spectre and the Witch and the Golden Garden, right? This town's too much. Ah yes, that reminds me. I haven't yet seen the excavation site for the Golden Garden. It's nearby if you'd like to have a look. As an archaeologist, I find it hard to resist. Well, we do have a little time before Emmy gets back. I'll take you there, Mr. Layton. It's just west of here. I appreciate it. Thank you, Luke. Of course, it's all part of our investigation after all. Missed it. I think I have been here. Just saying. Tony's so much fun. We used to think up loads of puzzles and get up to all sorts of things. I was always really clumsy, so Tony used to get cross with me, but even so, last time we played together, I kind of messed up. I hope he's not fed up with me or something. Oh, by the way, speaking of messing up, I have a puzzle for you. Son's Blunder. Dad, I finished the London Eye you asked. Oh. What? That's not what that says. Dad, I finished that London one you asked for. Cheers, son. It looks great. Hold on. Yeah. You've gone and got the letters wrong. Here, check my sketch to make sure you do it right this time, will you? What? No way! That's... Oh, you're right. I did. I'm sorry. I'll fix it right away. So which letter did the sun get wrong? Circle the incorrect one. Hmm. I'm going to do the stupid thing. Hang on. I feel like it's going to be the D, but I can't work out why it's the D. Unless it is the L because it's at the top. No, maybe it is the L.
I think this is right.
Okay.
That was it.
Yeah, it should be that way. Because then it isn't backwards. Okay. That's right, the L is wrong. The word's been carved on the stamp, so it needs to look correct when stamped onto something. If you were to stamp it as shown in the puzzle, you'd see the big mistake. That's it. You know, Tony sometimes got cross with me, but we'd always make up in the end. But I haven't seen him for ages. I hope he still thinks of me as a friend. It sounds as though you two were quite close. It's been a year since he stopped coming down to play, but he's still my very best friend. Oh, little Millhouse kid. It's a bit sad, isn't it? Oh, whoa! Wow, that landscape's changed. It doesn't look like the Spectre is responsible for this. No, it's land subsidence. Since the Spectre appeared, sinkholes have been appearing around town. Sinkholes and the Spectre? What is the relationship there? It's probably another one of the Spectre's powers. Wow, that does look different. I dress up as a black raven to fool people looking for the black market, but I really hate running. Ren and the boys tell me I'm too heavy. Maybe they're right and I should lose a few, but how? Why not try sharing your treats with the other black ravens? Sharing? I suppose that's an idea, but it won't be easy. Could you help me? Okay. I suppose I could share this triangular cake. It's really tasty, but I can't spare half of it, and my friends can divide it between them. But this is my cake. It's only fair that I should have most of it. I'll cut just 2 pieces with a ratio of 4 to 5, and I'll take the bigger piece. That's still pretty generous, isn't it? The sides of the cake are 15 centimeters long. How far along the side should he cut? Oh. Oh. Oh, there's a few ways to solve this, isn't there? Oh, right, okay. So here's what I'm thinking. I can work out the area of it. Am I going to need a post-it note? I think I am, aren't I? Right, so the area of a triangle. Or shall I do this? I'll do it on this. I'll try and do it on this. Okay, so the area of a triangle is half of the base times the height. But I don't have the height though, do I? So I need the height. Can I get that? Yeah, no, I can get the height, can't I? Oh, how can I get the height without using trigonometry? I think I'm going to be making this too hard for myself. But... oh well, I don't really care. Okay. So for this triangle then, it's a right angle. That's 15. That's 7.5. That angle is 60. That angle is 30. So how then can I work out the length of that? I'm doing maths. There's probably an easy way that I'm just overlooking. Well, I feel like giving it a stab. Can I do sine rule for this? So sine 30 over 7.5. Oh no, I know. I'm tempted to, but I won't. Equals sine of 60 over x. Sokoto. What does that do for me? It's been a while. I know it's a right angle triangle. Oh, that sparked something. Yeah. It's coming back to me. It's coming back. It's come back. I've retrieved it. Don't yell at me in chat. Tom, shut the fuck up. It's been 84 years since I did this. Okay, so... so sine of... oh my god. Don't laugh at me. How do you know which one's opposite and which one's adjacent? Don't laugh at me. How do I know? I don't know which angle I'm using. I'm using sine. What one do I use? I don't know. Does it not matter? So if I do sine 30 equals, yeah, if I do sine 30, I'm covering chat, don't look. The sine 30, so it's 7.5. No, that's shit. I need to use cos, don't I? I need to use cos 30. Cos 30 is 7.5 over x. Are we with me so far? How do we feel about this? Cos 30 is 7.5 over x. So 7.5 over cos 30 is going to be what? My phone's finished charging. No, I don't want to rate the app. Fuck off. Thanks. Thank you. 7.5 divided by cosine 30 is 8.660. Okay. Yeah, no, that's correct. Okay. The fact that it's... No, 8, not 7. The fact that it's 8.660 blah 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 does worry me a bit because I feel like I'm not supposed to be working it out this way. I think I'm doing it, Blair. I think I'm doing it. We've now got the side length of x, but it's been so long that I've forgotten why I needed that. Okay, it's written up there. Thank you, past me. So half times 7.5 times 8.6. Okay, nice one. 60, yeah. Why do I need that? Why am I doing this to myself? Times 7.5 times 8.6. So it's 32. So let's call it 32.5. Right. Why do I want that? No, it's not. It isn't. The length, the base is 15, not 7.5. So it's 65 in total. Right. Right, the area is 65-ish. This colour's crap. 65-ish. Okay. Which doesn't quite divide by 9, does it really? Let's say it was 63. 63 divided by 9 is 7. 7. So that means that that one is 35 and that one is 28-ish. Loosely speaking. But then I can't work that out. Hello, Blair, hello. So if it's 28... what? Why have I done this? I've got this far, and I'm happy that I've got this far. But I don't know how I'm going to work that out. Blair, shut the fuck up. No, because I like maths puzzles. I don't want to give up on it, but I can't. Now I've got this. I don't know how it's going to help me. Because I need... Let's go back to blue. I need a half of base times height to equal 28. But I don't have the base or the height anymore. And I should really need one of them. So I don't know if I can work it out like that. Or can I do some fuckery with this shape? I think I can do some fuckery with that shape. Ooh, can I? Yeah. Because I can just pretend that it's a square and it'll all work out fine, because it's... the angles will work out. Yeah. Okay, 35. Before I forget, 35. And then if I imagine... that equals 35, because we're going to pretend that that lives in there. And then we're going to... oh, no, we're not. No, we are not. We're not going to know that. Oh, I thought I had it then. I think the answer is going to be 10. That was 25, and that one's 28. Can I go back to this plan and work it out like that? No, not really. It's 10 centimeters.
Time to apply some creative thinking.
Thank you. Told you so. Knew
No
it.
puzzle is without an answer.
Correct, you can have my cake and eat it too if I cut the side at 10 centimeters. Oh! That is a cool way of thinking about it. Okay. Because I don't know of a way to prove that. With the information I had. Yeah, no. Okay. Nailed it. First try. And actually was first try, but you know. Okay. Thank Thank you, now I can share my cake with my friends. Don't mention it, lad. I hope you find that sharing makes your cake taste even more delicious. Really? I like the sound of that. Now I just need to find Crow and the others before I forget. Pre-warning. Yes. Tom incoming. Has Tom got Twitch? Or is Tom going to steal your phone? Hi, I'm Nate. I'm part of the dig team looking for the Golden Garden round here. Apparently, oh wow, okay. Dig team, you say? Where's the rest of your staff then? This guy does not get enough sleep. What is going on with his face? Most of the team gave up after a while. They came to the conclusion that the garden isn't here at all. And is that what you also think, Nate? Or not, he can't find his login, oh dear. I'd tell you to take a look for yourself, but the path's blocked by rubble. Actually, we located a precious stone that we want to extract, but it's proving tricky to get out. If you can help me out with that, I'd be happy to give you a hand with clearing the rubble. Please be easier. Oh, stop it. No wonder you can't get it out. Right. Dig team located a precious stone buried here, but they were unable to extract it because of the rubble in their way. Sliding, yay! Move the rubble out of the way so that Nate can get his hands on the lovely gem. Or, hear me out, I just don't do that. This is my thinking. Get that up there like that. Oh. Quite well so far. Oh, smash that! Huge!
A challenging puzzle, to be sure.
That was like the most confident I've ever been doing a sliding puzzle.
Of a good solution.
Success. Knowing how to use the tight spaces is key. 14 moves. Get a grip. Get a grip. 14 moves. No chance, mate. Rubble Trouble's now in your puzzle index. Toy train. Nate's near this. So if you think the Golden Garden isn't anywhere near here, you'll see once you go to the dig site. We dug deeper, but we didn't find anything remotely interesting. No building foundations, no trace of inhabitants, nothing to indicate even a hint of an ancient city. There are other stories about the Golden Garden that suggest it could be much older than civilization, but there isn't any evidence linking it to prehistoric times either. There's only the legend to go on. I suppose it could be buried much deeper than we thought. Now, if anything I've heard about ancient civilizations is real, have you looked in the sky? Because it's probably up there. The area is very wet though. Once you reach a certain depth, you would encounter water. Could the garden be even further below? We can't rule out that possibility. Do you think we didn't go down far enough? I really couldn't say, but I'm very interested in your search. Are you an archaeologist by training? Not really. I've just been working dig sites my whole life, and my intuition says not to give up yet. Still, maybe it'll all come to nothing. Be going into light mode and going to bed because you've got adult workday tomorrow. Oh, you got this, friend. You got this. I hope your workday goes okay tomorrow. And yeah. You got this. Right, where am I trying to end up? Oh, there. Oh. Oh. Oh, wait, I've got like no fuel. Oh, stop it. Oh, that's an issue. But then I can't get that one. Oh no, I can, okay. Let's see. Probably won't work, but let's try it. Yes, have a good sleep though. And we'll hang soon. Nope, straight into it. Oh no, missed it. Oh, I'm so tense. Ah. Okay. So if I made it all the way around there. There's nowhere else I can move there. There is nowhere else. Let me just play it again. So I just miss it there. But then I think it just misses me, right? Yeah, it misses me by like one tile. That's crazy. So I would need... to take more time at the bottom here, but I can't do that. Let's go a bit wild. Oh, I can cross over myself. That is very true. How about that? Probably going to hit the car straight away, actually, isn't it? Yep. So, I need... to go up and over first. No, I can't do that. This way? Try it. Let's see. Why is this train so long? No! Because I need to go down, don't I? That's what I already did. If I go... Okay. No, that won't work. Because then I'm trapped in for later. There's nowhere that I can go if I do that. I suppose I don't need to go for those, do I? What's that do for me? Let's try it. Oh? No, I'm not going to make that. This puzzle is crazy. This puzzle, the music is very happy silly, but I'm not feeling very happy silly playing this game. Oh, please. Oh. No, I can't do that. That doesn't work at all. Why am I doing that? That's so dumb. No, it doesn't work. I might leave this and come back to it. Maybe even as an off-stream job, because, like... this puzzle is so long that I don't know... I don't know what else I can try, what else I can change up. That was so close. Yeah, like with that, I can delay the train a bit more. What if... Okay. What if I went like that? But then went straight down. What does that do for me? Yep, straight down. No, it's the same, isn't it? Yep, doesn't matter. I've truly got a latent bug for this minigame now. Oh, perhaps. Oh, oh, oh. Yay! It's fine, you're just vibing painting models. Nice, nice. Thanks, friends. Thanks for sticking with me. Now, wait, I didn't explore. As Nate said, the excavation so far appears to have been fruitless. What makes you say that? I can tell from the exposed strata here, your father knows more about geology than I do. My father? Really? Yes, in his university studies, Clark excelled at identifying organisms in strata like this. You can guess what I just misread in my head. I take it he hasn't ever told you about that. Dad's been so busy with the town that we haven't spoken much recently. He seems like a different person since he became the mayor. Wow, what are you wowing? Don't wow me, okay? I just read the word wrong. I think maybe my mum left because she couldn't deal with him anymore. That got unexpectedly heavy. Oh. I bet he's not even my dad. What if the Spectre kidnapped my real dad? What in the hell is going on? Is your dad Don Paolo? Like, just... That would be wild. I know, same. Settle down, Luke, truly. I too thought that Clark was acting strangely. It's the Spectre controlling him. When did you notice this change in your father? When he became mayor, right before the Spectre appeared. I'm sure Clark will return to his old self once we sort out this case, but I need your help to do it. We'll get to the bottom of this. You believe in me, don't you, Luke? I believe in you, Mr. Layton. Thank you, Luke. Once we hear from Emmy, we'll speak to your father. Now perhaps we should make our way to the library. You think Emmy's back by now? If she's not, then we can look through some of the archived newspapers. Maybe we can find something. I see. You know where the library is, don't you? East of the crossroads. That's right. Let's go. Well, I need to click on it, don't I? Whoa! That was a real live explosion! Nate surely can't be using dynamite to excavate the Golden Garden. That doesn't seem like a very safe way to dig. No, not at all. I rather hope the Golden Garden isn't here. Wait. Oh, I can just do it. Oh, this is huge. This is the best day of my life. Fantastic. And an argent? I don't know. Pebble anyway. This one seems quite large. Why don't you have a look, Luke? It's really dark. I don't think I could go in there. Oh! This is refreshing. I can't remember the last time I visited an excavation site. I thought you always explored places like this, Mr. Layton. It's not always as glamorous as it sounds, Luke. I'm usually holed up in my study these days. That reminds me, here's a puzzle that may interest you. Sorting artifacts. An archaeologist shows you some ancient runes found on a dig. These runes were divided into 2 groups, but I seem to have mixed them up. Can you sort the runes into the correct groups? Only the top left rune cannot be moved. Right, whenever I see anything like this, I always start to think about, can it be drawn without taking your pen off the paper? Also, is that one a face? What is that? Like, you see what I mean, right? I see it. I thought so, yeah. So, like, right, this first one can be drawn without taking your pen off the paper. So can the second one. And so, can that one? Wait, can that one? No, that one can't. That one can. That one can't. Surely that one can't. No, that one can't. And then that one can't. Okay.
This is what I've come up with.
Was that it? Was that actually it? Take your pen off the paper? Yep, yep it was. Amazing. The runes are divided into 2 groups. Ones on the left can be written in 1 pen stroke without lifting the pen or retracing the line, and the ones on the right can't. I've played too many of these games, I think. I'm actually starting to think that I've played this too much. Well solved. Clark and I used to swap puzzles like this. You were good friends with my dad, weren't you? What was he like back when you knew him? Well, he was a very hard-working student, always on time and incredibly diligent. He was a favourite with the faculty members. They often assigned him particularly tricky tasks. We were both so enthralled by our research that we regularly studied through the night. Despite all that, he still felt he had a duty to help out his friends and family. But that's not what he's like now. I can understand why you would doubt your father. We'll get to the bottom of his behaviour, I promise. Then you can see the truth for yourself. I'm not sure I want to. Okay, let's go. Right, I didn't have a proper look around here. Oh. Now this is elementary, it's sedimentary. Do you think one of those swirly anemonite fossils are here? Could I have a go in the wheelbarrow, Mr. Layton? You push. Doesn't appear to have been treated all that well. Okay. Well, I have passed some time for Emmy to come back. Oh, wait, that's not the library. It's lower down, is it? Yeah, it's lower down. Let's talk to Mimi. We have a police chief here who solves the toughest cases in the blink of an eye. He'll catch the Spectre soon. Of course, if he doesn't, then what are we paying taxes for? That's nearly as bad as Mr. Bard demanding hold on. Exorbitant rate and giving us nothing in return. Rent, sorry, not rate, rent. Blue sky, a gentle breeze. Hard to believe the spectre showed up in this cozy little town. I love peace. It's the truth. And cats. I give my right arm to sleep all day like they do. Here, if you're a cat lover, maybe you'll fancy this little brain teaser. How about it? Mimi, if you're lurking, this is the puzzle for you. Cat in the maze. This sweet little cat has got herself stuck and needs to be rescued. She won't come when called, so you'll have to coax her out with some fish. She's so hungry she'll head towards any fish she spots in her direct line of sight and eat it before looking around for the next fish. Get the cat to the star using only 6 fish. What about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Nope. Wait. There it is. 4, 5, 6. Yippee!
How about this? I knew I could do it.
Correct. You use 6 fish to rescue the cat. She must be a very full kitty now. Oh, not another oh. Never know what a cat's thinking. They're inscrutable. You see, mice roll around this place, but there aren't too many cats. Tragic, that. Okay, I'll have a little go of the train thing, but maybe not invest an absolute mission into it. What the fuck? Now, I'm a quiet, peaceful soul by nature, but I can't get a wink of sleep lately because of this ridiculous occurrence. Tell me, how are you supposed to get through all the stations to the goal? I'm at my wit's end. Wait, oh, that's disgusting. How do I do that? Let's just see what that's like. Why not? Okay. So I have to go under the train, no matter what I do. So that won't work. Ideally, I'll only have to cross paths with the train. Fuck! Oh, I'm gonna have to unravel all of it. Oh, that's disgusting. I'm hoping I'm only gonna have to cross the red train twice, right? Because like now I'm so far ahead of the train, it doesn't matter. Oh, that was close. No, no. Okay, bonkers idea, but maybe it'll work. Wait, I don't even go through all the trains there. Oh no, I do, okay. If I do like that. Something mad like that. So we didn't go out, but you had fried chicken. Nice, though. Oh my god. Okay, I've done it. Fucking hell. But yes, yippee! I hope you enjoyed. Snow's got a headache after that. Crikey. It was good. Nice. Wow, we're getting so many puzzles. Oh, I need a break from puzzles. No, thanks. They're saying that the hotel in North Eli Street has giant gashes in the wall. It's fortunate that I took all the things and got out of that area. What would have happened if... Oh, it doesn't even bear thinking about. They really are. Why don't you try solving a puzzle or two? It should focus your mind and make you feel calmer. A puzzle? Not a bad idea. Now you mention it, here's one I meant to ask you about. Rainbow cottages. The rainbow cottages are very popular with the tourists, and one of the main attractions is that the pleasant waterside stroll connected by 12 bridges. A visiting couple have decided to paddle a boat out to one of the cottages and walk back to the mainland, crossing each of the 12 bridges. Which cottage should they start at? Right. So, it's not going to be G. It's not going to be E. It's also... Or it could be D. Doubt it's C. Doubt it's A. B. Doubt it's that one. I think it's D.
Time to apply some creative thinking.
Yeah, because D was the only one with 3 bridges
Without an answer.
reaching it. That's right, holidaymakers should take the boat to cottage D. By starting with the cottage with an odd number of bridges, you can walk across them all just once on the way back. Huge. Ah yes, that was it. I remember now. Many thanks. I feel a lot better now I know the answer. Why can I not do this? I feel like on my screen it works out, but when I look at OBS it's just nowhere near. Oh well. I'm glad we could be of assistance, madam. Oh no, him. And he's got a puzzle. I don't like the police round here. Can't they spare a thought for a poor old fellow? I asked them if they could solve a puzzle, and what do? Chuck it on the desk, that's what. Too busy with the spectre, they said. It's a downright insult. Shut up, Clarence. Hey, puzzle 69. Lanky lamppost. Can you work out the height of this lamppost in meters just by looking at the shadow it casts? A bollard next to the lamppost has a height of 1 meter and casts a shadow 1.5 meters long. Don't think you want a lanky lamppost in your 69, to be fair. I'm just going to leave that one for you, bestie. Oh. Wait. I think it's 4 meters? Yeah, no, it's 4 meters. Yeah, 4.
A challenging puzzle, to be sure.
Yeah.
A gentleman leaves no puzzle undone.
Because the height on the vertical wall is directly just the same distance. So it's 2. The lamppost is 4 meters high. Oh, that really didn't explain. Okay. Well, when it casts a shadow onto the ground, it's a bit longer, but on the wall it's just the same height. So the wall shadow's 2 meters, the floor shadow's 3 meters, but that 3 meters is only actually worth 2 meters. 2 and 2 is 4. Makes sense in my head. Have that, you lanky lamppost. You'd think the police could stop to help a frail old man, not rush off to find some boggart. It's terrible. What's the world coming to these days, eh? He shops at our store, Barry. He absolutely shops with us. Once upon a time, the whole planet was lavishly green. Verdant green life surrounded all creatures, even humans. But then humans cordoned off this lush bounty and separated themselves from it. He does, he truly does. What you say is especially true of cities. It is especially true. That's why I said it. That's also why I love Mistallery and its greenery. Ah, sometimes it's all just too much. The green of the trees, the green of the shrubs. Open your eyes and see. Nothing can surpass the woven tapestry of nature's colours. Nothing. Yes. Well, we really must be going, if you excuse us. I'm having that as a screenshot. Nope. Yeah, no, he really is, Barry. He really is. Ah! Wait, am I about to get puzzle gated? Because if they give me Keats and lots of puzzles, that means I'm going to get puzzle gated. Right, black and white cats. Let's say you want to display your collection of black and white paperweights on a 4x4 grid, leaving no empty spaces. But you don't want any row or column to have 3 or more of the same colour in a row. If you've already placed some of the cats as shown below and don't want to move them, how would you fill out the rest of the grid? Touch a colour to place a cat, change its colour or remove it. So every column needs to be white. No, every column needs to have 2 white and 2 black. So that means you must be white, you must be white. Oh. Oh, same colour in a row. Oh. Oh, that's fine. Well, that one's black and that one's white. Then have that one be white, that one be black, and that one be black. Surely that's right, isn't it? It doesn't mention diagonals. Yeah, 2 black, 2 white, 2 black, white, 2 black, white, 2 black, 2 white. Yeah, that's fine.
Time to apply some creative thinking.
I just reread as well, you said one of our weirdos.
The
That's,
thrill of a good
yeah,
solution.
that fits. Correct, looks as if there are more black than white cats overall. Nice. What is that? Is that someone's head or someone's butt? Oh, it's him again. Hey, it's me, Goosey. Goosey, what are you doing lurking down there? Well, I wanted a quiet place to hide, so I thought the library would work. I still stick out, don't I? Well, and I was really trying to sandwich myself between the bookshelves too. But why don't you just sit in the quiet corner out of sight? Ah, you'll never understand, Luke. You don't know what it means to stick out. But I can live with it. Anyway, how would you like to try a puzzle? Someone has been painting this square board in a rather patchy manner. The board has sides of 20 centimetres. The paintbrush is 10 centimetres wide. With every layer of paint, the surface gets darker. The colour code shows the number of layers needed to make each colour. Minimum number of brush strokes required to get the pattern shown below. Right. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Surely it's only 5.
This is what I've come up with.
Yay!
That was it.
Huge, let's go. Coats of paint is now in your puzzle index. My granny says the library's so old it even has stories about the spectre of legend. I still don't understand though, Goosey. Why were you hiding in that tiny little gap? It just looked so nice and cosy. If I could just slip in there, I wouldn't stick out at all. Right, if you say so. Sure. Okay. Welcome to the Miss Stalery Library. If you can't find a book, just tell me. I know where all of them are. We were hoping to look at a few local newspapers. The newspapers are over in the corner. If you need an archived issue, I'll show you where to look. I need some newspapers from around the time that Evan Bard passed away. Library policy prohibits me from showing them to anyone who hasn't completed at least 50 puzzles. It looks as if you've done so. Bam. Please give me a moment. Sorry to keep you waiting. These are all the newspapers printed the week of Mr. Bard's death. Perfect. May I borrow them? Are you familiar with the concept of a library? Ah, library humour. Go ahead, but bring them back. Very strange indeed. There are no concrete details about Bard's death in any local newspapers. She really got Layton there with that one. Absolutely roasted him. Well, that's no help. Perhaps not. How long should we wait for Emmy, Mr. Layton? Does she even know what a library looks like? As if on cue, I'm sure. Why don't you enlighten me, Luke? Emmy, you're back. It's good to see you. You too, Luke. Sorry I'm late. I had trouble reading the road signs on the way here. I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything by it. I'm sure you didn't. The children's books are over in the corner. Sorry to keep you waiting, Professor. Here are the materials you requested. Thank you, Emmy. I apologise for the trouble, but this may bring us a step closer in our investigation. I also brought you a surprise. Wow, if it isn't Professor Layton, keeping well, I take it. Inspector Grosky? So you're the one Emmy's been helping. Not very sporting to keep that a secret, Emmy. Smug Emmy we love truly. We love every Emmy, but yes, smug Emmy. Me? Not sporting? So you were Emmy's Scotland Yard connection, Inspector. What a small world. So the Professor really doesn't remember at all. What was that, Emmy? What? Nothing, I was just... Is that a new hat, Professor? Never mind hats. There's some sort of giant spectre menacing this town. Yes, it is quite a situation. It sounds as if Emmy has briefed you on some of the particulars, but allow me to fill in the details. Each time it appears, the spectre destroys a part of town. Someone is pulling the strings of the spectre, however, I'm not yet certain who. Cheap viewers, get out me chat, how about that? Wrecked. And I didn't ban anyone else in the process. Have that, Mimi. Sounds like a crime to me, and no crook can elude Grosky of the Yard. Truly, Berry. I'm sorry, Mimi, I'm sorry. I'll run down to Miss Dallery Police Station and exact his full cooperation. Hold on, Inspector, I haven't told you everything yet. And there he goes. Mimi's reputation as a modest on it is okay. I love you. I still love you. He looked keen. Well, let's have a look at what Emmy brought us. I think we'll find some useful information. Do I have Pet the Mod? I think I have Pet the Mod, don't I? As a BTTV emote. Yeah, I do that. Oh, I can't. It won't let me chat in here. That's a bit sad. There we go. Pet the mods. You're doing great, Mimi. Oh. Oh, Professor, I had my film developed as well. I think these photos should come in useful. Pet the mods. Yes, yes. Good thinking, Emmy. According to the police report, Bard died when he fell off a cliff. No sign of a struggle at the scene. A will was discovered in his house. The details of Bard's death are pretty sketchy. And look at this. Skill issue. According to the single eyewitness, there was no one else in the area. And the eyewitness was... Clark Triton. What? My dad? Mr. Triton was the witness at the scene. Did he ever mention anything about that? Did you know any of this, Luke? No, this is the first I've heard of it. Mum never mentioned it either. In his will, Mr. Bard left his rights to the town's land to Clark. It's giving Carol Baskin. Honestly. Like, what? What? That's so weird. I need another sweet. My voice hurts. He left all of that property to someone he wasn't related to. Why? And that's not all. Look. There's no mention of the Spectre in today's London newspaper. No mention despite the massive damage sustained by the town. Don't you find that strange? Now you mention it, we hadn't heard anything about the Spectre until we came to Miss Dallery. Is someone trying to keep this story from getting out? That it would appear so. Who would be capable of controlling information like that? Let's confirm the report at Miss Dallery Police Station before we jump to any conclusions. Perhaps Grosky has tracked down the police chief for us. There are many unresolved questions surrounding the death of Evan Bard. What really happened on that day? I'm positive that the key to unravelling the mystery of the Spectre lies in Evan Bard's death. Clark isn't a relative of Evan Bard, so why was he mentioned in Bard's will? Okay. I think I'm going to leave it there for Layton. We can just yap for a little bit. But I will stop it there because my voice hurts and my head hurts. So. Wait, what are you uh-ohing? It's not uh-oh like that. It's fine. Music. Sure. We did exhaust the pickrats truly, like I need to lie down now. An EP. I have the EP. Well, no, I don't have the EP. I have the just want to shut my eyes and turn off the lights. That's what I have. So. Yeah. But I hope you're all doing well. I appreciate your being here all of this time. Yeah. Cozy for sure. I don't know when I'll stream next. It won't be for a few days because I'm baking tomorrow, cinema on Tuesday, and meeting potato on Wednesday. I could maybe stream Thursday, I don't know, but it won't be for a few days at least, so I'm glad we did this today. Yeah. I don't want to eat berry. You got to though, because you have work in like 8 hours.
Go to bed.
Like you work soon. Go to bed. Night night. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that does suck, but yes, go to sleep because you have work. This is a really stupid question. It is Sunday, isn't it? Yeah, it's Sunday. Weird. Okay, no worries. Cool. That's true, yeah. I mean, this was your only, like, full day off, wasn't it? Disgusting. Yeah, no, you didn't show up, for sure. You know what I'm wondering, though? Why has he got you in on Wednesday? Because he said it's to cover him, right? But he's off on Wednesdays. So, like, what's that about? What's that about, Don Paulo? Yeah. What? Unless someone else is off this week, but I don't know who. Oh, unless it's for Hannah. I don't know. I'm so confused. Just showing a Daisy's not even in anyway, I know. I mean, because on my app I've just checked, it says Hannah's in on Wednesday as well. So that's me, you, and Hannah. I'm only until 5 that day, but like... What? What's that for? What's that for, Don Paulo? Why have you done this to us? I guess we'll figure it out. This song comes up so much on this playlist. There's like 100 songs. I'll be guaranteed get this from every single stream. How many songs? Oh, 92, but still. When was the last time we got Blueberry Bay or something? I don't know. Layton related realization. Go on. Go on. I love a good Layton related anything. Do tell. I still can't believe that GIF exists. I love it. Since he's going to prequels, does that mean Emmy leaves us eventually? These games take place before Curious Village. And Emmy is not in the Curious Village. As we know. Where she goes? Who can say? Who can say? Me, because I know. Because I've played all the games. But... like... all of the games have story. Like game 6 has story to it. So when we get there, woo, and game 5 has story actually as well. The 3DS ones, I guess maybe they can pack more in because it was on a more powerful system. But like, yeah. Oh yeah, we've got major lore coming. I'm so sad. I remember. Right, what happens to Emmy? I remember what happens to Emmy. Because like, from like 10 years ago, like it's still in my head. I'm not saying like what happens, of course, but I was like, oh my god, I see, I understand. It's, yeah, ingrained, basically. So, yeah. Look forward to that, because Game 6 is good. This music does not help the sleepiness. Just like, oh. So good. Hello, Blair. Hello. We're just yapping at the end of stream now. I hope you're doing good, though. Did you paint some figures? I hope that went well, if that's what you did. I'm so eepy. I think all of us are. I think it's like hit me in the last like 20 minutes that I'm just like, oh, yeah. Finish packing, painting away. Got you, got you. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm eepy. Oh, you can do it. Oh yeah, Blair, if you haven't seen yet, me and Berry were posting UK politicians play Minecraft TikToks in the server if you want to have a look at those at some point, because they're quality TikToks. Quality TikToks. Oh, the song is so good. Right. I've said right like I was going to have a follow-up, and I don't really have one, to be honest with you. But that's fine. I've seen some of the TikToks. Good, good. Excellent. Excellent. Not what type of humour? Oh, Wounder. Wounder. Okay. Ooh. Let me get closer to the screen because I'm old. I see. Very nice. Very nice. Sorry, it's okay, it's okay. The photos do be pretty dark. I mean, the photos be pretty dark, and I'm just like sleepy vision, and I know like the models are very detailed, so I was like, okay, I want to like, you know, have a little look-see. Sorry, I just got distracted by something. Cool. And I have a very close-up photo of the model. Ooh. But yeah, it's a really nice green. Yeah. It looks good. For context, the models aren't much taller than your thumb. Yeah, no, I know. They are small. They are small for sure. Ancient Cistern, hello. Okay. This one, yeah, oh yeah. Absolutely, absolutely they are. Oh, excuse me. When you're playing war games with like God knows how many units, it's a lot. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. I do not have the patience for painting really small things. Oh, I need to make more origami trees. I bought that brown paper, so like I can do it now, but I've just not done it. I need to do that. Look, you're relaxing. I'm glad. I'm glad. And I'm glad it's like you found something relaxing for you. Yeah, that's good. You know, I feel like I should wind down the stream, but I've not hit 3 hours, so I don't quite know what to do with myself. Oh, okay. Please hold. Mimi's going live at midnight, which for context is in 7 minutes. So let's yap for 7 more minutes, and then we can go and raid Mimi. Mimi may still be listening. If you are, Mimi, go live. Go live now, Mimi, so I can raid. Yo, I had to tidy up my parents coming round today. Like, oof. I've done tidying. Barry, you need to go to bed because you go to sleep at midnight is what you told me once. So, go to bed. I will see. Good, good. We're gonna have to... Yeah, no. No, never mind. Statement retracted. I feel like weird because my place has got less like piles of things now. Like you know what I mean when I say piles of things. I've like moved them and they're not just like here anymore. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. So remembered the last piece of your costume for your Stargate cosplays arrived. Ooh, gonna see how that all looks. Nice. I respectfully won't know the character, but you're always welcome to share with me and or us. Of course, of course. Another feeling, yeah. Because your shit's always just all over the flat, that's so fair. I mean, same, but my flat is smaller than yours, so... If I turn the camera around to what's over there, it would be bad. Yep. It would just be bad. What even is that? I can see. Why is there fucking tissue paper just there? That's so weird. There's also 2 of us. That's true. This is such a jam. It's such a jam, but I do prefer the original one. But that's okay. I want to get more back into Animal Crossing, like, because I'm not going to stream now for like at least 3 days. I don't know if I'm going to go on Animal Crossing in the next 3 days. Like on the new island, I don't know if I'll just like leave it as a stream thing. Because like... yeah, no, I probably will. We'll see. Yeah, Tom got a little upsetty recently because your stuff was encroaching on his living room area. Oh, interesting. 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 Hmm. I'm such a sleepy. Yo, I woke up so weirdly today. I woke up at like 7 in the morning and then went back to sleep again. And then like woke up at fucking 11 o'clock, like so weird. Side effect of I have a lot of shit and I leave it everywhere. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I feel like I know where most of my stuff is. It's just like, yeah, dotted around a lot. But then also I don't throw things away when I should. Like I've got an instruction manual here for my SSD, which I installed months ago. Yeah, that should just go in the bin. Like you pack down your painting, which you just clean the brushes. Ah, okay. Interesting. Interesting. I'm gonna throw something away after stream. I'm gonna chuck something. And do I need my Ocarina of Time cheat sheet anymore? Probably not, on a real level. Probably not. And I don't think I need my water temple map that I drew. Fortunately, that stream. Yeah, no, I feel like it might be time to throw those away. Yeah, I should probably do that. Okay, besties. Legend says Mimi is live. So, I think we should go and raid Mimi. She's just on her starting soon screen. So, let's do that for fun, because Mimi does the most random side quests when she's on starting soon, so she might not see us straight away. So, the raid message is going to be... just that. But if you include /me, copy pasta, if you type /me and then copy pasta, even if you're on mobile, just type /me and then copy pasta and it'll make it look like that. That's what we're going to do. So, thank you all for being here. Yes, like that. Absolutely. Yes, thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. It will be a few days till I stream again. Berry, I'll see you tomorrow. Berry, go to bed. And yes, I hope you all have a great rest of your nights. Yeah, okay, that's what we're gonna do. Yes, go to bed. Go to bed. Okay, we're raiding Mimi. I'll put us on the ending screen. Love you, friends. Love you. Bye.
Squeak.